In a shimmering city at the edge of a desert, a young man ran across the rooftops. His name was Aladdin. Behind him came the royal guards, chasing after him. "Stop, thief!" shouted the captain. "All this for a loaf of bread," wondered Aladdin, looking at the loaf in his hands. Then he leaped from the rooftop, swung from a washing line, and crash-landed on the sun-baked ground below. "There he is!" shouted one of the guards. "You won't get away so easy."
"You think that was easy?" said Aladdin. The woman standing nearby shook with laughter. "Getting into trouble a little early today, aren't you, Aladdin?" "Trouble?" said Aladdin. "No way. You're only in trouble if you get caught."
But before Aladdin could take another step, the captain of the guards grabbed him. "Gotcha!" he cried. A moment later, a monkey leaped onto the captain's head and pulled his headpiece over his eyes. "Perfect timing, Abu, as usual," said Aladdin, grinning. "Come on, let's get out of here." Together, Aladdin and Abu raced through the narrow streets until they lost sight of the guards.
It was time to enjoy their bread. Aladdin split the loaf, but before he could take a bite, he spied two hungry children watching him with huge sad eyes. "Here," he said, holding out his bread to them. "Go on, take it." When Aladdin finally arrived home that night, he pulled back his ragged curtain and gazed out across the city. In the distance, he could see the royal palace. "Someday, Abu, things are going to change," he promised. "We'll be rich, live in a palace, and never have any problems."
Inside the palace, however, things were not going smoothly. Princess Jasmine's latest suitor was storming out of the door. "Good luck marrying her off," the suitor told the Sultan as he stalked away. The Sultan ran to the palace gardens in search of his daughter. He found her sitting by a fountain with her pet tiger, Raja. "Dearest," he began, "you've got to stop rejecting every suitor who comes to call."
"If I do marry, I want it to be for love," protested the princess. "Please try to understand. I've never done a thing on my own. I've never had any real friends." Raja growled. "Except you, Raja," added Jasmine. "I've never ever been outside the palace walls." "But Jasmine, you're a princess," said her father. "Then maybe I don't want to be a princess anymore."
They went down a twisting staircase into the Cave of Wonder. Its walls were piled high with golden treasure. Aladdin began to search for the lamp. Behind them, flying silently through the air, came a magic carpet. "Come on out," said Aladdin, gently, when he spied it hiding behind a pile of treasure. "We're not gonna hurt you. Maybe you can help us."
"We're trying to find this lamp," Aladdin explained. The carpet beckoned for them to follow, leading the way through dark caverns to a high stone mound. At its top, in a pool of light, sat a plain old lamp. "This is it," said Aladdin disbelievingly. "This is what we came all the way down here to." He turned as he spoke, just as Abu reached for a giant glittering ruby. "No," cried Aladdin, but Abu already held the ruby in his paws. The cave walls began to shake. "You have touched the forbidden treasure. Now you will never see the light of day again." Below, the Cave of Wonders. The cave began to crumble in on itself. Rocks fell like rain, and the cave floor turned to molten lava. Just in time, the magic carpet flew to rescue Abu and Aladdin. "Carpet, let's move," cried Aladdin, as a huge cave of lava chased after them.
They flew back through the narrow caverns, but as they neared the entrance, a large rock fell on them, flinging Aladdin and Abu against the wall and pinning the carpet to the cave floor. Aladdin clung to the stone wall. He could see the old man at the entrance of the cave. "Help me out," Aladdin begged. "First, give me the lamp," replied the man. Aladdin held it up, and the old man grabbed it from him. "At last!" he shouted. Then he turned on Aladdin, his dagger raised. Abu leaped up to protect Aladdin, but the old man flung them both down into the crumbling cave. As the magic carpet watched them fall, it struggled to escape the rock. Free at last, it rushed to their rescue. With a final roar, the cave's tiger-shaped head disappeared into the sand. The old man shed his disguise, revealing himself to be Jafar. "It's mine," cackled Jafar. "It's all mine." But when he reached for the lamp, it was nowhere to be found.
Inside the gloomy cave, Aladdin rose from the carpet in despair. "We're trapped," he groaned. "That two-faced son of a jackal, well, whoever he was, he's long gone with that lamp." At that, Abu revealed the lamp from behind his back. "Why, you hairy little thief," said Aladdin, grinning. He held up the lamp. "It looks like such a beat-up, worthless piece of junk." Then he looked closer. "I think there's something written here, but it's hard to make out." And he began to rub. The lamp glowed red. Then fireworks burst from its spout, sparkling and crackling through the air. Out of the fireworks rose a gigantic blue genie. Then 1,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. Wow! Wow, how does it feel to be out of here? The genie cried. What's your name? Aladdin. Say, you're a lot smaller than my last master, said the genie. Wait a minute, said Aladdin. I'm your master?
That's right, announced the genie. The ever-impressive, the long-contained, the often imitated but never duplicated genie of the lamp. Aladdin watched in amazement as the genie transformed at every moment. Right here, direct from the lamp. Right here, for your wish fulfillment, continued the genie. Wish fulfillment? 3 wishes, to be exact, replied the genie. So, what'll be it, master? Aladdin thought for a moment. Then he got an idea. I don't know, Abu, muttered Aladdin, pretending to walk away. He probably can't even get us out of this cave. Excuse me, said the genie. Are you looking at me? Did you rob my lamp? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me here? And all of a sudden you're walking out on me? I don't think so. Not right now. You're getting your wishes, so sit down. Aladdin and Abu sat on the carpet with the genie beside them. We're out of here, cried the genie. And they shut up and out of the cave, and like a comet streaked through the desert sky, touching down on a sun-kissed oasis. Well, how about that, said the genie. You sure showed me, admitted Aladdin. Now, about my 3 wishes.
Aladdin turned to the genie. What would you wish for? He asked. Freedom, said the genie. You're a prisoner? Asked Aladdin. It's all part and parcel of the whole genie gig. Phenomenal cosmic power. Itty-bitty living space, explained the genie. The only way I can get out of this is if my master wishes me out. I'll do it, offered Aladdin. I'll use my 3rd wish to set you free. Well, here's hoping, said the genie, and they shook on it. So, how about it? What is it you want most? Asked the genie. Well, there's this girl, sighed Aladdin. I can make anybody fall in love, said the genie. But she's the princess. To even have a chance, I'd have to be... Hey, can you make me a prince? Now, is that an official wish? Say the magic words. Genie, said Aladdin, I wish for you to make me a prince.
The genie clicked his fingers and, at once, Aladdin was dressed in royal robes. He clicked his fingers again and Abu transformed into an elephant. He's got the outfit, announced the genie. He's got the elephant, but we're not through yet. Hang on, kid. We're going to make you a star. Back at the palace, Jafar hadn't given up on his plot to take over the throne. He stood before the Sultan, mesmerizing him with a snake-headed staff. You will order the princess to marry me, he intoned. But the Sultan was distracted by the sound of trumpets and trumpets from outside. He raced to the balcony to see a huge procession heading towards the palace announcing the arrival of Prince Ali Ababwa. And then, bursting through the palace doors, came Aladdin dressed in his princess robes, sweeping down from the elephant Abu on his magic carpet.
Your Majesty, said Aladdin, I have journeyed from afar to seek your daughter's hand. Prince Ali Ababwa, of course. I'm delighted to meet you, said the Sultan, shaking Aladdin's hand. Jasmine entered the room unnoticed. Jasmine will like this one, the Sultan said. And I'm pretty sure I like Princess Jasmine, replied Aladdin. Your Highness, no. I must intercede on Jasmine's behalf. This boy is no different from the others, sneered Jafar. What makes him think he is worthy of the princess? Your Majesty, protested Aladdin, just let her meet me. Jasmine had heard enough. How dare you, she called from the doorway. All of you standing around deciding my future. I am not a prize to be won. And she stormed from the room. Later that night, Aladdin stepped onto the magic carpet and swept up to Jasmine's balcony. It's me, Prince Ali, he announced. I do not want to see you, said Prince Jasmine.
But as Jasmine came closer, she thought she recognized him. Wait, do I know you? No, said Aladdin quickly. No, I guess not. She sighed and turned to leave. Then the genie appeared as a bee buzzing in Aladdin's ear. Stop her, said the genie. But remember, be yourself, he added. Yeah, right, replied Aladdin. Jasmine turned. What? Oh, you're right, Aladdin called after her. You're just some prize to be won. You should be free to make your own choice. I'll go now. And he stepped off the palace balcony. No, cried Jasmine. Aladdin rose up again. How are you doing that? It's a magic carpet. You don't want to go for a ride, do you? We could get out of the palace, see the world. Is it safe? Sure. Do you trust me? Aladdin asked as he held out his hand. Jasmine remembered Aladdin's words on the rooftop. Yes, she replied and placed her hand in his.
They flew over the city, soared above the clouds, over winding rivers, and past horses galloping across the desert. At last they came to rest on a rooftop. It's all so magical, said Jasmine. It's a shame Abu had to miss this. He doesn't really like flying. Oh no. You are the boy from the market, said Jasmine. Who are you? Tell me the truth. I really am a prince, Aladdin lied, too afraid to tell her the truth. Good night, my handsome prince, said Jasmine as the magic carpet brought them back to the palace. Sleep well, princess, said Aladdin. And beneath the moon they kissed. For the first time in my life, thought Aladdin, things are starting to go right. But as soon as Aladdin touched down in the palace garden, he was grabbed by Jafar's men. Then they took him, chained and bound him, and threw him into the sea.
The lamp, hidden in Aladdin's headpiece, fell beside him and rubbed against his hand. Come on, Aladdin, cried the genie, rushing him back to the surface. Aladdin coughed and spluttered. Then he hugged the genie in thanks. In the palace, the Sultan was once more under Jafar's spell. I have chosen a husband for you, he told Jasmine. You will wed Jafar. Father, I chose Prince Ali, replied Jasmine. Prince Ali left, said Jafar. Better check your crystal ball again, said Aladdin, coming towards them. Then he noticed Jafar's staff hypnotizing the Sultan. He grabbed it and smashed it on the ground. Your Highness, Aladdin said, Jafar's been controlling you with this. Guards, arrest him, cried the Sultan.
Tiene un ataque epiléptico. Está hablando. Pero no es tan agresivo, tía. Tía, va contra luz, es fatal.
On the ground. A moment later, he disappeared in a cloud of smoke.
That afternoon, under Jafar's orders, Iago flew into Aladdin's room. While Aladdin was distracted, Iago snatched the lamp and brought it to his master. Jafar rubbed the lamp gleefully. Genie, he commanded, I wish to rule on high, as Sultan. At once a terrible storm gathered around the palace. The Sultan's robes and crown were whisked away from him, and onto Jafar. Next, the genie lifted the palace and placed it high on a rocky cliff top. Aladdin whistled for his magic carpet. Genie, no, he shouted, flying towards him. Sorry, kid, sighed the genie. I got a new master now. Genie, Jafar commanded, my second wish. I wish to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world. Jafar was lit with a spark from the genie's outstretched finger. He stood before them, more powerful than ever. He aimed his staff at Jasmine and her father, forcing them to bow before him, and then he turned to Aladdin, transforming his prince clothes back to rags. Ali, Jasmine said. Jasmine, I tried to tell you,
Genie, said Jafar, I have decided to make my final wish. I wish for Princess Jasmine to fall desperately in love with me. Trying to buy some time, Jasmine pretended the genie had granted Jafar's final wish. Jafar, she said, I never realized how incredibly handsome you are. But then Jafar spied Aladdin, flying on the magic carpet towards the lamp, and he knew he had been tricked. At once, he turned on them. He trapped Jasmine in his hourglass, unraveled the carpet so it was no more than a spool of thread, and surrounded Aladdin with a ring of flames. Are you afraid to fight me yourself, you cowardly snake? Shouted Aladdin. A snake, am I? Perhaps you'd like to see how snake-like I can be, Jafar hissed, transforming himself into a giant cobra, trapping Aladdin in his coils. You little fool, you thought you could defeat the most powerful being on earth? Jafar said. Aladdin paused. Then an idea came to him in a flash. The genie has more power than you'll ever have, taunted Aladdin. You're right, his power does exceed my own, but not for long, slave, he commanded the genie. I make my third wish. I wish to be an all-powerful genie.
All right, your wish is my command. And with a snap of his finger, he turned Jafar into a genie. Jafar rose in a red cloud from a gleaming black lamp. Aladdin raced to free Jasmine from the hourglass as Jafar rose even higher. The universe is mine to command, to control, Jafar cried. Not so fast, Jafar, said Aladdin. Aren't you forgetting something? You wanted to be a genie, you got it, and everything that goes with it, he said as he held up his black lamp. No, screamed Jafar, but it was too late. He was sucked into the black lamp, grabbing Iago as he went. Phenomenal cosmic powers, itty-bitty living space, said Aladdin. In a shower of sparkles, Abi turned back into a monkey, the spool of thread into the magic carpet, and the palace once again stood proud at the edge of the city. Jasmine, said Aladdin, turned to her. I'm sorry I lied to you about being a prince. I know why you did it, she replied. Well, I guess this is a goodbye. This isn't fair. I love you, said Jasmine.
Al, no problem. You've still got one wish left, said the genie. Just say the word and you're a prince again. But, Genie, what about your freedom? Aladdin asked. He turned to Jasmine. I do love you, but I've got to stop pretending to be something I'm not. I understand, said Jasmine. Genie, said Aladdin, I wish for your freedom. There was a burst of light. The chains fell from the genie's wrist. The lamp clattered to the floor. I'm free at last, the genie cheered. I'm going to miss you, said Aladdin. Me too, Al, the genie replied. No matter what anybody says, you'll always be a prince to me. That's right, the Sultan declared. You've certainly proven your worth as far as I'm concerned. From this day forth, the princess shall marry whomever she deems worthy. Him, Jasmine cried, running into Aladdin's arms. I chose you, Aladdin.
All of you, come over here, said the genie, gathering everyone in his arms. Big group hug. Then he went swirling into the sky. I'm out of here, he said. Bye, you two crazy lovebirds. Aladdin and Jasmine waved him goodbye. Then the magic carpet swept them away through the night sky, fireworks sparkling above them.
In a shimmering city at the edge of a desert, a young man ran across the rooftops. His name was Aladdin. Behind him came the royal guards, chasing after him. Stop!